In this example, we're going to be finding the mean, median, range, and IQR for each one of these data sets. I'm going to show you how to do this on the calculator with this first one. We can also do it by hand with maybe some of these other ones. It looks like we have a bunch of different pulse rates. And if you take a look, we can figure out how many pulse rates there are. We have 3 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows, meaning there's 24 pieces of data. That's going to be important. Go to your graphing calculator and hit the statistics key. It's the STAT key right here. And you'll see a screen pop up. What we want to do is we want to edit some of these lists. So we'll hit enter. Notice how my first list, or list 1, already has information in it. So if you cursor left and then up 1 over the L1, you can hit clear and hit enter, and it will clear the entire list. You can do that with any of the lists. The next thing we're going to need to do is type in this data accurately. So I'm going to type in 88. I'm just going to go left to right on the top. It actually doesn't matter for your calculator which order you type these in for one variable data. You just need to make sure that you get one of each piece of data. You don't want to double up where there isn't a double up, and you don't want to put 576s when there's only 4 of them. So just make sure that you do that. But there's kind of a check here at the end to alleviate some of those issues. So we're down here on 80, got some more 80s hanging out there. And again, I'm looking at the data set, just going left to right here. And just down the rows, so we got 76, 68, 68. Just hit enter after each one of these that you enter in on the keypad. And that was 268, so we'll put another one in, another 60, 64, 64, 64, and 56. Right now, this calculator says there's 25, this is the 25th piece of data, but you're on that 25th piece of data. So if you cursor up 1, it will tell you that list 1, the 24th piece of data, is 56. And this is a good double check for you. If you have like 24 pieces of data and you somehow wind up with this being the 23rd, well, you forgot one. Or if that's the 25th, you added one in there where there shouldn't be. So you need to look at your data. We're going to go back to the home screen, and then we're going to ask the calculator to perform some one variable statistics. So hit your STAT button, the statistics button. Go 1 to the right, and you can see that this first one here is one variable stats. So you can hit enter. It's often a good idea. The calculator is set up to do list 1 automatically, but I like to do second, and then I'm going to hit hit number 1 here. And what that's going to do is it's going to put in list 1. And so what we can do is hit enter now, and it'll take all the data in list 1 and perform some statistics on it. So we can see here the X bar is the mean, and it's 73.8. So we'll write that here. The mean is about 73.8. So the mean is when you add them all up and then divide by how many there are. And you could do that by hand, but our calculator does it nice and easy for us as well. The other interesting thing here is n is 24. This means that there's 24 pieces of data, which we know already. We're going to come down to the 5-number summary now. The 5-number summary is so named because there's 5 pieces of data here. We'll use that later when we make box plots. But it has the median, which is 76. We want to list that. We also need to list the range. So the maximum is 88, the minimum is 56. So the range will be 88, and then we'll do minus 56. So what you do is you take the biggest value, the largest value, and subtract the smallest value. And if we do that math, we've got the range being, oh, let's see here, 32, I think. The IQR is a different sort of range, and the IQR is Q3, which is 80 in this case. Oops, let me move that down there so you guys can see. So that's an 80. And then right here we have Q1, which is 68, so we're going to subtract those two. So once again, this is Q3 and this is Q1. 80 minus 68 is 12. If we try that with the next one, we can actually do this one by hand maybe. The mean is when we just add them all up, and by hand I mean I'm just going to type it in the calculator and show you how to do it without using that one variable statistics, I guess. So we can type all the values in here, hit enter, and divide by how many there are. So there's 5 pieces of data, we'll divide by 5, and we find the mean to be 7. So the mean here is 7. The median is just the number in the middle when the data is ordered least to greatest. So you can see right here there's a 7. If there's no middle number, if there's an even number of pieces of data, all you'll do is you just average those 2 pieces that are closest to the middle. So you add them up and divide by 2. We're going to see how that works here shortly too. The range here for this one is simply going to be 10 minus 4, the largest number minus the smallest number, which is 6. And we could do the IQR. To do the IQR though, we need to find Q3. If we look at the right half of data, Q3 is the median of the right half of the data, which is right in between 7 and 10. So to figure that out, we just need to do 7 plus 10, and then divide by 2, which is 8.5. So Q3 is 8.5. It's the median of the right set of data. And there's an even number over here, so we need to take the average of the 2 that are closest there. Q1, so that was Q3 over there. Q1 right here is in between the 4 and the 7. So that's Q1, that's Q3, and that's the median. Sometimes called Q2, but usually it's the median. So halfway in between 4 and 7 would be 5.5. If we add these together and divide it by 2, we would get 5.5. So that's going to be 3. And we have a couple more to do here. So we've got 3 and 4. And in 3 and 4, again, you can either do these kind of by hand or with the help of the calculator. So let's just add these, I think we'll just add these up here to figure out the, let's see, 48 plus figure out the mean is what I mean to say. Pun intended there. So 60 plus 62 plus 70, and that's 354, and we'll divide by 6 then. So the mean for this is 59. Great. Now for the median, this one's a little tricky but not too bad. So the median is going to be the middle number when the data is ordered least to greatest. Well, that would be right here. Notice there's an even number of pieces of data. So halfway between 58 and 60 would be 59. When that line doesn't go right through the middle of a number, what you'll do is you'll just take the average of the 2 numbers that are closest to it. Now the range here is going to be 70 minus 48, which is 22. And that's the biggest number, the largest I should say, so minus the smallest. And then the IQR, we're going to have to find Q3. And there's 3 pieces of data over here, and Q3 is the median of that right half, which is 62. And we'll subtract Q1, which we can see here is 56. So that's going to be a 6. Points scored in the Super Bowl. I'm going to use our one variable statistics here for this one, so I'm going to hit the STAT button, edit. I'm going to go ahead and clear out list 1 by hitting clear and enter, and then we're going to enter that data in. So it's a 31, a 46, a 31, a 45, a 61, a 69, a 37, let's see, 41, 39, and 53. And then what we're going to do here, we've got 10 pieces of data, so that's good, and that fits our model right over here. And what we're going to do then with this is we're going to quit, and we're going to go to the STAT button again, cursor 1 to the right, and hit enter. And it should be list 1, but you can just hit second and then number 1 down here, and you can see that we have a list 1 right there, and just hit enter. So the mean is 45.3. And we can go down to the 5-number summary, and we can see that the median is 43. And we can do the range here. The max is piece of data is 69, so we'll do the range here is 69 minus. The minimum is 31, and you can see that in the data as well. 31 is the lowest number, 69 is the biggest. And so let's see, 69 minus 31, gosh, that should be 38. The IQR is going to be Q3. Q3 is 53. minus Q1, which is 37. So the IQR will be 16.